Okay, good morning, everyone. This is the first part of the lesson. I wanted to kind of go through the concept of doing a little bit of a visual aid as we go into these lessons and everything. And you'll notice that there's two lessons that we have broken down here for today's activities. We start out with the circles and squares patterns, and then we go into binary numbers. But actually, it's all just really talking about the way that we actually have computers communicate to each other, because effectively what they're doing is they're communicating through ones and zeros. But we wanted to start out with these visual patterns because it makes it a little bit easier to kind of understand the concept of number systems initially, first of all, and then we can lean more into like the computations of it, of how you actually go through the process of what's actually happening when computers communicate to each other through binary numbers. But initially, you'll see that there's this activity guide in lesson 3 that actually shows like using the squares and circles in kind of a pattern making sense. So Mrs. Stevens should have some physical little cards. Either you have 4 circles and 4 squares, or possibly the cards themselves have been made to where you can either flip them so there's a circle on one side and then a square on the other side. But initially, with what you're actually seeing is you want to take 3 of those, 3 circles, 3 squares, and you want to make as many patterns as possible, with the restriction that in each spot or each digit you can only place either a circle or a square, right? And then you cannot duplicate the pattern that you're making of the set of 3, right? If you're looking at my camera here, you'll notice that initially what I've set up is 3 circles right in a row. And if you're looking at the sheet itself, and I have it displayed there for you, you'll notice that they have like 8 slots, and there's a reason for that, because if you use those restrictions of you can't duplicate any pattern sequence and you can only use a circle and a square in each spot, ultimately what's going to happen is we're only going to have 8 different combinations that we can actually create. And I'll go through this real quick with you, showing you on this, right? So, starting out with 3 circles, right? What we'll do is we'll just change one spot, possibly, and then this will give us a new pattern. So, we have circle, 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 and then circle, circle, square, right? And then let's change this back to a circle. And this is not a new pattern because we still already have the 3 circles. And then we'll take this next card and we'll flip it over, and we'll make that circle, square, circle, right? And then since this last one hadn't changed, so now we have 3 patterns. We'll change this again, and this will give us circle, square, square. So now we've had 4 patterns. We had circle, 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 square, then circle, square, circle, and then circle, square, square. So the way that we did these 2 cards right here, we had 4 different combinations. You can actually do that 4 steps, right? And then just change, instead of having a circle here, we have a square there instead, so then we can go through the same process of starting out. In this first spot, we have a square, and then circle, circle, square, circle, square, 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 circle, square, square, square. And then as you go through, and if you fill all that out and actually document it, you'll notice that there was only 8 different combinations that we could actually do with that in when we are only using these 3 cards like that, right? So the bigger challenge is to take your fourth card and then go through the setup and go through and see how many different combinations you can make. Now, knowing that with the three cards, right, we were only able to make 8 patterns, and no matter what, like as you go through and you make those 8 patterns, uh, if we take a fourth card and add it into the sequence, it you might notice that every single time we add a card, uh, it actually only gives you one or the other option. So as you add that on, uh, since each card only gives you 2 different options, if you only have 8 possibilities with 3 cards, if you add a fourth card, as you go through the steps and everything and do the different combinations, no matter what, as you go through the setup, you might find out that you only actually have 16 different possibilities. And when you add the fourth card, and you'll notice that it's kind of creating a pattern in the sense of, as you go through and you add each new card, since it only gives you 2 options on that card, every single time you add a new card, it's giving you basically a double amount of combinations. So as we start to add cards, it's actually going to give you the ability to basically double the amount of combinations you have. So here's the next question. So if you add a fifth card, how many possibilities do you think you can actually make out of that combination if you add that fifth card? And I'm going to leave you with that question because that will be on your question sheet of what kind of what you need to think about, and you can actually have it as an open discussion in class and everything. But when I'm in class talking with you all, I will actually give you the answer.